Alright, so today we're going to talk about the life cycle of a frog. Now, we've talked about how different organisms live together in ecosystems, but each one of those organisms has its own unique life cycle that it goes through as part of that environment. So one thing we know is that all living things are born, they grow, they reproduce, and die. This is a cycle that we see over and over again in all living things. But I'm interested what you all think are some examples of this. So this would not be part of the presentation, but here I plan to take examples that they witness in their own lives, and I expect there to be examples of animals and people, but I want to be sure to guide students to think about plants as well, and possibly compare that to things that change, maybe like ice melting into water, snow melting, and compare that to living organisms so they can see what's different. So the first stage in our frog's life cycle, a female adult frog lays thousands of eggs underwater. During the process, they are being fertilized by a male frog and become what we call frog spawn. The eggs later float as a jelly-like mass at the surface of ponds, and this happens a lot in the spring. Next, inside our eggs, small changes start to occur. So between 6 and 21 days after the eggs are fertilized, tadpoles hatch from them. Looks something like this. They will stay tadpoles for 6 to 9 weeks, depending on the species of frog. Tadpoles live in calm, static waters, and they feed on algae and microplants. They have a tail and swim very fast. Then our tadpole starts to transform into what we call a froglet. First developing hind legs, and later forelegs. It looks more like a frog, and the tail starts to shorten as well. Finally, our adult frog is formed. The frog loses its tail completely, and being an amphibian, lives partly on land and in the water. Its diet also changes. Frogs eat insects, as opposed to the algae our tadpoles were eating.